Hey everybody, just a quick heads up. This housing market shift that I'm seeing is kind of flying under the radar, and it really could change our inventory sooner than we might think. For the first time since the pandemic, there are more homeowners that have mortgages above 6% than there are those who have mortgages below 3%. I'll say that again. There's more 6% plus mortgages than there are 3% below mortgages. It's really actually a pretty big deal. And the reason it's a big deal is because what's really frozen the housing market hasn't been the demand. It's something I like to call the lock-in effect. If you have a 2 or 3% interest rate, selling your house almost feels impossible. You feel locked into that interest rate because you don't want to give up that really cheap money. That money's probably the cheapest money we'll ever see in our lifetimes. So people have just stayed put. But here's what's changing. By late 2025, there had been about 20% of the market had rates below 3%. Early on, there was almost 30% of the market had rates under 3%. So that's dropped significantly the amount of people who have these cheap mortgages. At the same time, homeowners with rates over 6% jumped from 5 to 6% of the marketplace back in 2020 to over 21% of the marketplace today. What all that means, the translation for this is that more homeowners are already living with today's rates, so the emotional resistance to selling their home has faded, or it's starting to fade anyway. And because of this, that's why inventory has been so tight, is because people have been unwilling to sell their home. And it's also why the average first-time home buyer now is almost 40 years old, because people stay in their houses longer, about 15 years on average. It used to be 5 to 7 years. So we've got a lot of changes in the marketplace, and this interest rate resistance to selling that cheap money, I think, is kind of starting to trade a little bit to a better market. Markets don't change overnight. What markets really do like is stability, knowing what's coming up. I think everyone's fairly confident the mortgage rates are going to hover in the 6% range, a little less, a little more maybe. But once that reality is there, I think the market's really going to start taking off. So that's today's 303 FYI. Contact the 303 Home Team if you have any questions or want information.